just glad you came.
We're live. We're live.
We're live? Okay. Okay, we will open the public hearing for Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision. Also, I want to state we do have a sign-in sheet back there in that back corner, if everybody would make sure they sign in to that. If you come up to give us any words of wisdom, please use the mic and state your name and spell your last name for us so we can get that all right. So with that, we will have Nicole do the staff report.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I have a staff report. This is probably one of the briefest staff reports that I've written regarding a subdivision, and the reason for that being this is an amended lot of an existing subdivision, and the reason this lot is being amended is to remove a public access easement and create no additional lots. So no additional lots are being created. So in the application, you'll notice a variance request, which is a non-actionable item for this planning board, but it will be actionable for the commissioners. But the variance request is from the environmental assessment, and that was actually at my suggestion to the developer and the developer's representative. Since no new lots are being created, I did not feel that an environmental assessment was warranted. So in any case, they did take that advice, and that's the direction we're moving forward. So with that, I would like to read the staff report into the record. Again, it's very brief, so it should just take 10 minutes or so. All right. This is the staff report of the amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision. Excuse me, one of our planning board members just texted me back, and I want to make sure if I need to wait for her. Okay, no, Janine will not be here. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Staff report of the amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision. This staff report is to the Broadwater County Planning Board from myself, the Broadwater County Community Development and Planner. Subject, a proposed subsequent minor subdivision preliminary plat to be known as amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision. The date of application was September 11th, 2024. They received element completeness on October 23rd, 2024, and sufficiency on November 6th, 2024. The review period will end February 5th of 2025. Public meeting dates. Excuse me. Public hearing is scheduled for today, 1:30 p.m. Public hearing is being held by the planning board. The planning board meeting will be held after this meeting. If the planning board decides that they want to hold subsequent meetings, we do indeed still have time. As I stated before this meeting, I do have this scheduled to appear on the Broadwater County Commissioners agenda on December 18th, but that can be removed and added to a later date should this board need more time. The applicants are Paul and Sharon Finlayson of Three Forks, Montana. The applicant's representative is Bernadette Swenson of Townsend, Montana. Legal description. This is located in the east half of Section 9, Township 2 North, Range 1 East of Broadwater County. General location. The proposed subdivision is located approximately 1 mile north of Interstate 90, adjacent to and west of U.S. Highway 287, and partially adjacent to and north of Wheatland Road. Description. Proposal. The applicant proposes to amend an existing subdivision lot to remove a 60-foot public access and utility easement from an existing 1.89 acre parcel of land. This lot had previously been approved for one single-family residence and will continue to be utilized in the same manner. An existing residence with an approved on-site wastewater treatment system and individual well are currently located on the parcel. The required preliminary review fee of $1,200, that's a big number. Remove one of those zeros. $1,290, not $12,000. That's extortion. Has been paid. Discussion. Review is performed pursuant to the Montana Subdivision and Platting Act, Section 76.3.101 through 76.3.614 Montana Codes Annotated and the Broadwater County Subdivision Regulations. The proposed preliminary plat, amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision, as submitted by the applicant together with the required supplementary plans and information, appear to satisfy the requirements of these regulations and with the Broadwater County Growth Policy Plan dated 2020 and an addendum in 2024. Since no new lots are being created and an approved weed management plan was approved for the Wheatland Meadows major subdivision and filed upon the recording of that plat, a new weed management plan is not required. The original Wheatland Meadows major subdivision weed management plan will continue to apply to this proposed subdivision. Existing covenants for the Wheatland Meadows major subdivision are recorded in Book 113, Page 298 in the Broadwater County Clerk and Recorder's Office. No new covenants are proposed. Physical conditions. A preliminary plat of Wheatland Meadows major subdivision, a topographic map indicating 2-foot contour intervals, and a vicinity map are included in the preliminary plat application. No rock outcroppings have been identified on the property. The proposed subdivision is not situated in a designated 100-year floodplain. There are existing utility easements indicated on the preliminary plat. Water supply. An individual well serves the existing home site on Lot 44 of the Wheatland Meadows major subdivision. No new wells are being proposed. Wastewater treatment. A permitted on-site wastewater treatment system is in place for the home site on Lot 44. No new wastewater treatment systems are being proposed. Department of Environmental Quality approval was obtained for the entire Wheatland Meadows major subdivision and recorded with the original plat as Book 97, page 297 in the Broadwater County Clerk and Recorder's Office. Solid waste. The lot owners will continue to be responsible for disposal of their solid waste. Since the southern Broadwater County area withdrew from the county's solid waste district, subdivision residents and businesses may hire a private contractor to collect their solid waste or transport it themselves to the Logan landfill, approximately 11 miles to the southeast of Wheatland Meadows major subdivision. Drainage. A drainage plan was submitted for the original Wheatland Meadows major subdivision and approved by DEQ on August 10, 2006. Since no new drainages have developed and no new home sites are being constructed, a new grading and drainage plan is not required. Evaluation criteria. Present land use. The current land use of this parcel is for one single-family residence. Effects on agriculture. The subdivision will have no effect on agricultural productivity since there is no crop production on the property and the use of the land will remain unchanged. Environmental assessment criteria. A variance request from providing an environmental assessment was submitted in the preliminary plat application. Since no new lots are being created and no new or additional home sites will be added, the variance request should be allowable. The environmental assessment for the approved Wheatland Meadows major subdivision is included in the preliminary plat application as item number 25. Geology. No evidence of faults, landslides, or any other geologic hazard were discovered on the property. As with many areas of southwestern Montana, this area has a moderate seismic rating of Zone 3. A USGS series topographic map was included in the submittal, along with a topographic map showing 2-foot ground contours for Lot 44. Soils are suitable for on-site wastewater treatment systems. Groundwater is greater than 10 feet in all other areas of the subdivision. The nearest surface water is the Jefferson River, located approximately 2¼ miles east and southeast of the proposed subdivision. Vegetation. There are no marsh, shrub, or forest lands located on this proposed subdivision. No infestation of noxious weeds was identified by the county weed coordinator. The lot owners will be responsible for the care of their lot, including weed control and revegetation of areas of disturbance. Effects on wildlife and habitat. Wildlife in the area is limited. There are no important wildlife areas or habitat for rare or endangered species on this property. Common wildlife species include upland game birds, antelope, mule, and white-tailed deer, and an occasional elk. A letter dated 8/24/2005 was sent to Fish, Wildlife, and Parks requesting comments on the Wheatland Meadows major subdivision. No response had been received. Home sites should not impact wildlife since restrictive covenants are proposed and pets shall be strictly controlled by their owners. Effects on historical features. The Montana Historical Society was sent a letter to determine if there are known historical, archaeological, or cultural sites which may be affected by the proposed subdivision. A response dated August 25, 2005 was received from Damon Murdo, Cultural Records Manager. No previously recorded historic or archaeological sites have been identified in the search locale, and a cultural resource inventory is unwarranted at this time. However, if any such sites are identified during construction of the subdivision, the State Historic Preservation Office will be notified. Effects on roads. The access road to this parcel is Wheatland Meadows Drive, a subdivision road. This road was engineered and constructed according to the 1999 Broadwater County subdivision regulations. Since no new parcels are being created and no additional home sites added, there should be no effect on roads. Utilities. Vigilante Rural Electric Cooperative will continue to provide electrical service to the subdivision. Natural gas service is not currently available. Utility easements will follow the proposed road easements and lot lines and will be installed underground. Even if this 60-foot wide public access and utility easement is approved to be removed, a 20-foot utility easement will remain in place. Effects on emergency services. Since no new lots are being created, this subdivision should have no effect on emergency services. Effects on schools. Since no new lots are being created, the subdivision should have no effect on schools. Effects on land use. Since no new lots are being created, this subdivision should have no effect on land use. Effects on public health and safety. There have been no natural or man-made health and safety hazards identified within the proposed subdivision. Traffic along Wheatland Road and the proposed gravel roads of the subdivision could potentially cause an increase in dust pollution until all roads are paved. The livestock auction barn and agricultural activities in the surrounding area may create obnoxious odors, excessive noise, and dust. No other nuisances have been identified. Parks and recreation facilities. The Wheatland Meadows major subdivisions includes a 13.77 acre park in the north half of the subdivision that crosses from east to west along Mud Springs Gulch. The park dedication exceeded the minimum amount of parkland required by the Broadwater County subdivision regulations. Since no new lots are being created, no additional parks and recreation facilities are required. It is hereby ordered that the preliminary plat for the amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision is approved, subject to the conditions listed below. Final plat approval should be contingent upon completion and compliance with these conditions. Number 1, the subdivision plat shall provide a 20-foot utility easement for the effective provision of utilities. Number 2, the final plat shall be prepared in accordance with Broadwater County requirements and applicable Montana Subdivision and Platting Act survey requirements. Number 3, prior to filing the final plat, the applicant shall A, provide proof that all taxes and special assessments assessed and levied on the property are paid for the current tax year, including any past delinquencies, and B, provide documentation showing that the applicant is the lawful owner of the property with the apparent authority to subdivide the same, and showing the names of lien holders or claimants of record. Preliminary plat approval of the amended Lot 44 Wheatland Meadows subsequent minor subdivision shall be enforced for 3 calendar years. At the end of this period, the governing body may, at the written request of the subdivider, extend its approval for a mutually agreed upon period of time. Party as defined by 763625 MCA, who is aggrieved by a decision of the governing body, may, within 30 days after this decision, appeal to the Broadwater County District Court. And that concludes my report. With the one edit of on page 2, the review fee was $1,290.
Thank you, Nicole. So is there any public comment? Anybody want to add anything or go over anything? Any questions on the staff report?
I'll just make a general comment.
Okay.
Butch Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N. I make this kind of a common sense decision. I'm the president of Wheatland Meadows HOA. Our HOA does not want this easement in there. We as a board have discussed that, and we would like to see it go away. Paul Finlayson obviously does want the easement in there. I own personally lot 45, which abuts lot 44, where the easement will go through. I don't want to see the easement next to my lot. I mean, the utility easement is fine, but we don't need a vehicle easement through there. Greg Schaub with Three Rivers subdivision is the one that this easement would connect to, who is to the west of us. And Greg has already sent us a letter that Nicole possibly has that says he does not want it. So there's nobody in the area that is in favor of this at all. So we see no reason why it shouldn't be approved as put together. You know, a 20-foot utility easement would be fine. We have no problem with that. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one comment, if I may, to
Okay.
back up what Mr. Barton said. In your preliminary plat application, there is the letter from Greg Schaub. It's under tab 37 in your preliminary plat application. But there is a letter from Greg Schaub, so thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Barton, that the only other landowner other than Mr. and Mrs. Finlayson, and Mr. and Mrs. Barton that would benefit, if you want to call it a benefit, from this easement would be Mr. Schaub. And the letter, I would like to read it into the record if I may, even though it was not submitted as public comment, it was submitted as part of the record, and I think it's pertinent to this conversation. So if I may, Mr. Chair, I'll just read this brief letter into the record.
Yes, you may.
This letter is dated August 12th, 2024, from Greg Schaub, Clearview Partners, LLC. He is the managing partner. To whom it may concern, I understand that some property owners in the Wheatland Meadows subdivision would like to remove the public easement on the west side of the property which adjoins the 320 acres I own. I have no objection to the removal of this easement or the conversion of it from a public easement to a utility easement. Please feel free to contact me directly if you have any questions.
Right. That's good to see. Okay, any other comments? Okay, so we really can't do a whole lot with this, right?
Mr. Chair, if I may, so during your, the public hearing, if there's no additional public hearing, you can close the public hearing, well, you cannot open a regular business meeting because you do not have a quorum, so, what could happen at this juncture, options, if the planning board, how can we do this, because you're not going to make a vote? I can ask you individually. If you would object to me taking this to the commissioners on December 18th, or would you prefer to wait until there's a quorum? Obviously, since there is no quorum here, you're not actually voting on this. I'm just asking your individual preference. So, Mr. Chairman, which would be your preference?
I would say go ahead and take it to the commissioners.
Okay. Ms. Collada?
I agree.
Okay, perfect. So that will be the direct path of action taken by staff, myself, since there is not a quorum available of the planning board to make the recommendation to the commissioners, and the planning board did not have any additional comments for me to add to the record to carry forward to the commissioners. This is scheduled to appear on the Broadwater County Commissioners agenda December 18th, time to be determined, I believe. Typically sometime between 10 and 11 a.m. in that time period, but the agenda will be posted at the close of business on Thursday?
Tomorrow.
At the close of business, excuse me, tomorrow, with that time slot identified. So with that, you can close the public hearing at any time if you have no other comments to add or other public comment.
Any other public comment? Anything on the internet?
No.
Okay. All right, we will close this public hearing. This got to be one of the shortest ones too, right?
I think you're right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate your support.